Hello folks, it's been a while, but welcome to the new studio. Welcome to the new Excelsior Experience from the Hip series. It's going to be a little bit different. You can actually see the title of the show for the first time due to my cutting edge technology here. So I hope you're appreciating that. And let's get cracking. So raise your godless or god-loving goblet, trademark, and let's talk about stuff. Now, as anyone who's got to know me will attest, I enjoy talking. Something I like doing. Hey, it's a good thing to do. We can express ideas and concepts and how we are feeling internally. Our internal world can be expressed into the exterior world. People can have an idea of what makes us us. So talking, I always think, is a great thing. I encourage it. I do it all the time, and I'm getting better at listening to other people as well. So hey, work in progress. So what have I been thinking about recently? Well, we have an evolving community. We have new people joining all the time on YouTube. New people engaging in activism against this hideous cult that brought us all here and why you're listening to me right now. And that's just such great news. It's wonderful. So all of us need to, I think, just celebrate the fact that there's a hell of a lot more people getting involved and that the community is fundamentally a good place. That being said, any community, any group of people is only ever as good as the least member of that group, the least evolved, the less able. That's how you're defined, not by your finest, but by your weakest. This is how human beings are. You show a human being an A4 sheet of paper with one black dot on it, what do they see first? They see the black dot. That's how we are as people. But we have an opportunity here that is really amazing. We have the ability to help people we'll probably never meet to get over and to move on from a very traumatic event in their lives, which is being part of a cult, part of a high control group. And let's just think about how that was programmed into us and what that programming was. What were the fundamental principles that were being churned into our head 2-3 times a week at meetings and in all the literature, etc., and so on? One of them was that there is one way of living. Wouldn't you agree? Wasn't one of them that there is one way of living? One correct way of living. And that's it. Everything else, absolutely everything else, was wrong. And furthermore, we didn't even think to express at least some respect for people's sincerity. It didn't matter how sincere a Southern Baptist was, they were wrong. It didn't matter how sincere anybody was, they were wrong. There was no account taken to sincerity of belief. There was no account taken for people's feelings. Because we would quite happily hand over this literature that said, you're wrong. We had that poo-coloured book, Treasoning from the Scriptures, which was effectively a whole book of, you're wrong. And so when we leave, do we take that with us? Do we believe that our internal space, our internal world, our moral code is the only way to live? Let's not take that with us. That's not a good idea. Because there are many ways of living. Many ways of being a moral, decent human being. Loads of them. And they're all equally right. They may not be right for us as individuals, but it's right for that other person. And who is it to say that our internal space, our moral code, is better than others? It's not our place to do that. That's what a cult taught us to do. It's not the case. And so we need to, I think, take a step back and say, hey, this is great. There are people who are living a life that's completely different to my own. And I think that's great. I think that's a wonderful thing. Rather than, oh my God, there are people who are different than me. Oh, they must be wrong. And we are propelled into a world that is increasingly prone to circles of belief, especially on the internet. That is something that can happen. You can surround yourself with people who absolutely agree with everything that comes out of your mouth. Everything you say is right. And when you fart, and everybody does, it don't stink at all. Easy to find. Off-the-shelf belief systems, off-the-shelf lifestyles that you can jump into and have an immediate community, but don't let that be a circle of confirmation. Let some people in your life turn around and say, actually, I don't agree with that, or that wouldn't work for me. Just someone to add some kind of challenge to this eternal circle of confirmation. No one needs that. It's not healthy for anybody. Even minority groups, you don't need to be in a circle where everyone agrees with you all the time about everything. It's not healthy. No one is absolutely right about everything. Everyone can make mistakes. So no internal moral code, no ethics, no anything we choose will ever be perfect. That's the challenge, to make it as perfect as we can, isn't it? Learn from our mistakes, learn from what results from what we choose to do. Very much like good old Jesus said, by your fruits you will be recognised. That's what I try and do. I try and live a decent life. I try and be kind to people. I've suffered a lot of loss and pain in my life. I've made a decision that I'd like to help people. That's just something I've chosen to do. And one of the ways I try and do that is to say, well, look, I've done this. What's happened after I've done that? Has there been some good results from what I did? If there are, then hey, that sounds like a pretty good thing to continue doing. Let's carry on doing that. If I don't see good results from something that I'm doing from a position of kindness, then hey, why carry on doing it? It's not having a good result. Why do it? It's not about me. It's about helping other people. And that's another thing that we can take out of the cult if we're not careful. Why did we ever do anything? Come on, let's be honest here. Between us, let's be honest. Why did we ever do anything in the Watchtower? It was to gain our own salvation. We weren't really thinking about other people a lot of the time. We were thinking about, I want to avoid having my eyes pecked out by birds and my flesh falling off my bones while I'm still alive. So I'm going to do whatever these people say to get there. And I will rat out my friends, and I will do this, and I will do that, and I will do whatever it takes. A lot of us had that attitude because it was drummed into our heads. Now, as full disclosure, I never ratted anyone out to the elders. I always stood by my friends. I was never that person who said, you've got a week to go and talk to the elders. I never did that. It happened to me, and it's devastating and it's painful. But that's life. And eventually you can learn from that. Hey, I had something really horrible happen to me. I can choose to be kind. I can choose to say, hey, I'm not going to pass this crap on to other people. I'm actually going to try and be a decent human being and be kind. It's a choice. We have that choice. So just try and be balanced in things. It's very difficult. We were such imbalanced people in that cult that to become a balanced human being is a challenge, and maybe we'll never get there, but the journey is the important thing. Give it a go. Try and be the best person you can be, the best person I can be. Have the courage to say when we get something wrong, hey, I've got that wrong, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to do better. I'm going to learn from that, so that mistake doesn't happen again. And if it does, hey, you can get forgiven again because you'll try hard not to do it again. Now, as you know, I'm not a Christian. I don't have any belief in any kind of supernatural force at all. If one would like to appear in front of me, I'd be very happy to be wrong. I don't mind being wrong. It means I've learnt something. It's a good thing. So if any spirit would ever like to appear in front of me, that'd be awesome, man. That'd be cool. But as of now, I'm very sceptical. So just try and remember that we came out of a cult that knew nothing of love, nothing at all. It bleated on about loving, but it never actually did. And we now have the beautiful and wonderful chance to love people. Just that. Just love people. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But think about that. You have the chance, the ability, the opportunity to love people, to love someone, however you want. You never had that before. Embrace that, cherish that, see it for what it is, which is a beautiful thing. Avoid those circles of confirmation, because that's what a cult does. They they confirm each other. They get into a circle and everyone's right and nobody's farts stink. I make mistakes every day, but I hope to learn from them. I hope that people will forgive me for my mistakes I make, and I move on from them and I learn from them. That's everybody on this planet does that, is that. What's in our head, we can express. We can talk about things. We can express how we feel. We can share our opinions. We can have an opinion that isn't given to us in a book. Wonderful. We can go and check out anything we want. We can read what we want. We can look at what we want. We can be who we want. That is a precious gift. But we are launched into a bigger world that has a lot of problems, a lot of things that need to be sorted out. We've got a part to play in that. And getting yourself right is a very, very important thing. Vital. But at some point, we have to step into a bigger universe. We have to step out into a bigger world where there is climate change and there is the magnetic poles that are going to change, and there are issues around water and food and fuel and lots of other issues that are affecting our planet, affecting every single one of us. And we need to have a view on that. We need to see, okay, what can we do about these things at some point? But we need to get our heads right, or as right as we can get them first. Yeah, I think that's about it, I guess, guys. I've just wanted to share this one thing with you and leave you with this. Now, I'm not going to mention the YouTuber or the person who left a comment, and I'm going to sort of just paraphrase, because I don't want to cause offence to anybody. You know, we're all in our different stages in our evolution as full human beings. So, that being said, here goes. Someone made a video, and underneath, this is someone who's been making videos for a long time. They also do a hell of a lot of work off screen. A hell of a lot of work off screen. Which no one sees, of course, because it's off screen. So, bear that in mind. These people made a video, and underneath, someone wrote, to paraphrase, this other people, they always give a heart back to a comment, and they always comment back, and these people never do that, and that's really, really rude. And I thought, well, to that individual at that point, it is rude, isn't it? I understand that. But think of a bigger picture. You've got people who are living their lives, doing activism in their own way, and doing some fine work, and you know they literally spend hours of their day helping people, which is a really lovely thing to do. And oftentimes they're swamped with the amount of emails they get. So if that has happened to you, don't get offended. Don't take offence at that. It's okay. It doesn't mean that someone doesn't like you or doesn't care about you. It doesn't mean that. It just means that at that point they can't do that for you. And that takes me to another point which I will just finish with. This is a worldwide issue, so not just among our community. But on the internet, we've got to avoid seeing our worth as a human being reflected by how many likes or hearts or comments or subscribers or whatever metric you use to try and establish success in quotes, because our worth as a human being is indivisible from anything. Scientifically, we are unique human beings. There will never be another one like us in this level of existence. There might be multiverses and billions and infinite numbers of us, but on this planet at this time there's one of us, and there will only ever be one of us. So our worth, our value as a human being is already established. Now how we express that is down to us as individuals, but that's a fact. Every one of us has the honour of being a unique experience on this planet. And I value that. I think that's wonderful. So let's try and be kind. That's what I try and do. I hope I succeed in being kind to you folks out there. That's my sincere wish, is to be kind and helpful. Hopefully make you laugh with my silly Lego videos and have a chat with you here and try and encourage people just to be kind and get along, but also to stand up when there is wrongdoing. Never see unity as worth any cost, because it just isn't. That's Watchtower again. Unity at any cost is Watchtower. Unity is a great thing. We can all combine and help each other do some wonderful things, and that's what's going on right now. It's brilliant. But unity at any cost, no. If people are up to things that are wrong, it needs to be called out. Isn't that what we're doing with Watchtower? They're doing bad things and we're calling them out. Why would we not then do that in our own community if we see things that are wrong? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Think of that. All of us are spending a lot of time calling out what is wrong in the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. If we see wrongdoing in our own XJW community, we have the same obligation to call it out. That's my opinion. Anyway, I think I'm going to sign off now, so I shall merely end with my traditional farewell. Peace be with you. Excelsior!